Hey, are you sick of playing some limp dick build that gets nerfed to hell every patch? Looking for an OP Deadeye build that actually slaps and won't get dumpstered by the devs? Well, my friend, you've just hit the jackpot. This bad boy maps in under 3 to 4 minutes. One-shots bosses like they owe it money, and doesn't come with the risk of your entire investment turning into a meme tier joke. Let's dive in, shall we?
None of it matters as you lie bleeding out on the battlefield. None of it changes what a speeding rock does to a body. We all die. Does that mean our lives are meaningless? Does that mean that there was no point in our being born? Would you say that of our slain comrades? What about their lives? Were they meaningless? They were not! Their memory serves as an example to us all! The courageous fallen! The anguished fallen! Their lives have meaning because we, the living, refuse to forget them! And as we ride to certain death, we trust our successors to do the same for us! Because my soldiers do not buckle or yield when faced with the cruelty of this world! My soldiers push forward! My soldiers scream out! My soldiers rage!
Unless you make the most important decision of your life. Prove to yourself that you have the strength and the courage to be free. Join the Helldivers.
Let's dive into the gear, starting with my crossbow. This beast right here is a 550 DPS crossbow I snagged for 3 divines, an absolute steal. Now pay attention because this is crucial. The elemental damage to attacks is where your real power lies. That's your bread and butter, not the flat fizz. Don't get me wrong, flat fizz is important, but it's a solid second in priority. About the bow. Don't overthink it. Just get any bow with at least 250 DPS. That's more than enough to easily proc shock and get the job done. No need to blow your budget chasing insane stats. Cap your resistances and get HP. Any quiver will do fine. For your armor, focus on getting as much evasion as possible while capping your resistances and stacking HP. If your resistances are already capped, you can look for a similar amulet with offensive stats to boost your damage. Otherwise, prioritize one with resistances, evasion, and HP to shore up your defenses. For your rings, stack lightning damage, add lightning to attacks, and cap your lightning resistance. Quality all 3 stats to maximize them. After that, focus on resistances, HP, mana, or evasion. The goal here is to stack those stats like you're building a tank with a lightning gun. Later, when you get your hands on a utility belt, you can basically double the value of your rings huge damage boost and defense boost all in one? You'll be dealing massive damage while dodging like a pro. For boots, cap resist if needed, stack HP, evasion, and maybe some dex or strength. But above all, 30% plus movement speed is a must. For gloves, go for lightning damage, attack speed, mana or HP, and resistances. Simple and effective. Stack those stats to keep the damage up and survive longer. Now for my gems. Galvanic Shards is your main skill for clearing trash mobs. Focus on martial tempo, heft, and fork for max efficiency. For bosses, swap martial tempo to ShockBurst to really boost your damage. ShockBurst is your main skill for bosses. Focus on martial tempo, concentrated effect, lightning infusion, and fresh clip. Fresh clip gives you 19% more damage per reload, stacking up to 6 seconds. With enough attack speed, you can maintain 3 stacks for a total of 57% more damage. Don't forget primal armament to top it off. Herald is a great buff for map clearing. Focus on magnified effect, innervate, blind, and lightning mastery. Emergency reload is a solid damage boost, especially when used on your last bolt before a reload. Focus on premeditation, persistence, and ingenuity to get the most out of it. For Stormcaller Arrow, your main skill for shock, focus on lasting shock, overcharge, lightning exposure, and strip away. Wind Dancer is a great buff that boosts your evasion by 19% per stack. Focus on cannibalism, precision, and herbalism to maximize your survivability. Voltaic Mark boosts shock, use it first, then hit with Stormcaller Arrow for maximum damage. Alright, here's a quick look at my passive tree. Don't worry, I'll get into the gem setup later. I know you're all dying to know how I make this beast work. I went with Afterimage for my amulet because this build thrives at close range. 2 to 3 meters from the target is where we dish out the highest damage. And since we're always up in the enemy's face, Afterimage gives us 8% more evasion on melee hits, making us practically untouchable. Bosses won't even see it coming as we dodge their attacks like pros while we melt their health. For your standard jewels early on, focus on reload speed for your crossbow. Without attack speed or reload speed, Galvanic feels kinda clunky due to its 50% reload speed debuff. Later, you can ditch the reload speed since we stack so much attack speed that it barely matters. Attack speed directly affects reload speed, so it's a must-have. As for damage, you can go with lighting, projectile, attack, or elemental damage. Any of those will work. The real kicker though? Minimum 15% evasion. This is your only line of defense, and without it, your survivability goes to crap. Don't sleep on this stat. Alright, here's the deal. This jewel costing me 7 div gives me 4% extra lightning damage on notables and 3% chaos resistance. Is it nice? Sure, but let's be real. You don't need this jewel. A simpler option, like a time-lost emerald jewel, would do just fine. It won't have the same fancy stats, but trust me, it'll still get the job done without burning a hole in your pocket. So if you want to flex, go for the fancy jewel. But if you just want to play the game and wreck stuff, save your divs and get something simpler. Here's an example of my time-lost emerald jewel. It gives me 3% increased damage with crossbows on small passives, and 2% attack speed on notables. This beauty cost me just 1 div, unlike the time-lost diamond, which is way pricier. But guess what? For a fraction of the price, this jewel still gives me that nice damage boost and even adds a little extra speed to keep things rolling. So, if you're looking to keep your build effective without breaking the bank, this one's your best friend. Alright, here's the real showcase of my numbers. Buckle up because we're talking about Tailwind and how it makes your attack speed feel like you're on a caffeine binge. You get that sweet DPS boost and then fresh clip kicks in, turning your damage into a wrecking ball. It's not just good, it's good enough to make your enemies wonder what just hit them. Yep, you're seeing it right. 800,000 DPS, and guess what? No need for those bullshit cast-on effect or stat-stacking builds that drain your divs faster than a broken ATM. We're talking rare items, my friend, with a sharp focus on prioritizing certain stats. No need to risk your entire build getting nerfed into oblivion. This setup's built to last, and it actually works. Keep it simple. Keep it efficient. All right, my friend, you've reached the end. If you enjoyed this ride, hit that like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and your comment would mean a lot. Let me know what you think, or if you've got any ideas for changes or upgrades on the build. I'm all ears. I'll also have the updated build up on Maxroll, because let's face it, the old one's basically a troll compared to this one. Link will be in the description. For now, stay alive. Stay safe from those corpse explosions, and good luck out there.